games in Pensacola beginning on November the 2nd. You look at the standings coming into the afternoon. Oklahoma comfortable. They are 11th with 9 points accumulated toward qualification. Longhorns likely need to win their final 2 contests if they want to make it to the battle at the beach. Great to be alongside Nick McMillan. Once again, I'm Chad McKee. So that's a look at the standings coming into the day. What's at stake for these 2 teams, Nick?
I mean, it is a win and get in scenario for both teams. If you're OU, you win today, you solidify your place in the SEC tournament, and that is going to be a major lift for this Sooners team. And if you're Texas, you have to win today to even have a chance to make the playoffs. It is going to be a very electric match today.
Oklahoma really has relied on its defense here late in the season. Caroline Duffy has been excellent in goal. The front line in front of her has been as good as any in the SEC at holding opposing offenses out of the goal. But for Duffy, back-to-back SEC Defensive Player of the Week, what kind of run is she on?
I mean, she is just seeing the game extremely well right now. She's made 14 saves in her last 3 games, and everything that comes near her, you just expect her to save. She is having a massive senior season, and I expect her to make 1 or 2 saves today.
She'll have her hands full, though, because Texas has one of the best freshmen in the country in Ava McDonald. Already 3 braces in her freshman year, including one in the first half last time out against Georgia. What kind of a freshman campaign has she had?
I mean, she has just been electric. As you see right there, she hits a 30-yard screamer. Every single time she touches the ball, you expect something cool to happen. I mean, and she is just seeing the ball extremely well, and she's going to have to come up really big if Texas wants to win today.
33rd all-time meeting between the Sooners and the Longhorns. We are set to call it for you from John Crane Field in Norman. Starting lineups are straight ahead on SEC Network. Last 2 meetings in the Red River rivalry have been very good. Matt Mott's first season as Oklahoma head coach, his team victorious here in the final stages in Norman. He said the celebration by his team afterward, he knew the rivalry was real. And then last season, Longhorns winning, Lexi Nissimo, Texas all-time leader in goals. She had 56 in her Longhorns career. That was the only goal in a 1-0 victory for Texas down in Austin. So here's the Oklahoma starting lineup. Senior day, 6 of the 8 seniors will be in the starting lineup. Kayla Kiefer, not a senior. Oklahoma's happy about that. What a year she's having. Big-time athlete, the transfer from Ole Miss. She is 5th in the country in assists this year with 8 of them. She's also scored 5 goals. And for the Longhorns and Coach Ange Kelly, Cameron Bird earned her first career assist against Auburn's second career start. It's such a very youthful group. It is mostly young players. 19 of 21 goals have been scored by underclassmen. And back in goal, Kendall Williams, it'll be her 7th start. She got her first win against Vanderbilt just 3 matches ago when Texas got its biggest win of the year. That was a top 15 victory they had over Vanderbilt. So the record is not what they would like it to be, but the Longhorns have certainly had their moments. Underway on just a beautiful day, about 70 degrees at John Crane Field here in Norman. McDonald going to get an early touch for the Longhorns, looking for an open teammate. The band is present. Members of the Pride of Oklahoma on hand, and we've got an early foul call. Kiefer gets tangled up with Texas's Amaya Haley, the UNLV transfer, but that's kind of the MO for Kiefer. She is one of the most aggressive players in the SEC, Nick.
I mean, and she is not afraid to hit somebody. When you watch her play, she just throws her body on the line for the full 90 minutes, and it's kind of exciting to see as a, spectator, because you like to see that. You like to see girls just giving it their all to play. I mean, she is one of those that you just love to watch.
How about the adjustments these teams have made? Oklahoma's gone to a little different attacking style with Kiefer more forward as the lone player up top and a few more defenders back.
You know, it was one of those that at the beginning of the year they were playing both Kiefer and Naomi Clark, and they almost do the same exact thing. And so there was times where they were just running into each other while they were playing. And so I think they make this change so that way it allows Kiefer to really excel, and then you let Clark excel whenever Kiefer gets tired.
There's one of those Oklahoma seniors, Hadley Morrell, who's had an excellent career. She earns a quick corner. She's played over 5,000 career minutes. It's Hadley Morrell, and Matt Mott said she's just done everything that they've asked of her. Smart attacking player. And here's another senior, Michelle Pack. She'll drop off the short corner. That's Juliet Rayo, and now the chip in by Morrell. Headed away. Out it comes to the foot of the very talented Amalia Villarreal. Sooners will send this back as the on-rushing McDonald, and Duffy clears it for the Sooners. Kiefer. And Ariana Brothers slipped down there. Then Kiefer goes down, and Brothers takes a tumble over the top of her. The turf looks like you hit a pitching wedge out of it down there. We got a spike mark.
A little bit unfortunate. It looked like she almost sat on the ball there. There's nothing that Kiefer could do. And I mean, hey, you know, if you can't beat him, just sit on it. You know, what's the worst that can happen, right?
Clifton sends this the other way for the Sooners. Ball kind of jostled back and forth. Finally down it comes to Brianna Thompson, who's played nearly 5,000 career minutes on the Texas back row. This is Riley Brown. She is a senior at Oklahoma, transfer from Washington, and she's going to be all SEC defensive team. Wouldn't you say, Nick? No doubt about it. She's been excellent for Matt Mott and the Sooners.
You know, at the beginning of the year, we spoke to Coach Matt Mott, and he expected her to be good, but he didn't expect her to be as good as what she is. I mean, she has just been a staple in this Texas or in this OU back line. I mean, every single time when you're looking at a lineup, I mean, that's the first name on the team sheet for me. She has just been unbelievable.
There's Matt Mott, his team in good shape as far as qualifying for the SEC tournament. Basically, win today, you're likely in. You would really need a loss by either Auburn or Texas A&M to clinch it. And then the Sooners have one more match left 1 week from today at Arkansas, but they feel like they're in really good shape. They'd like to get off the schneid, though. Just had an excellent year at home, in particular, 7-1-2. They are plus 17 goal differential here at John Crane Field, but 3 straight draws. They would like to get a win on Senior Day here in Norman. Oklahoma settles things back. They keep control on the Texas half. Shimkin comes up to defend Michelle Pack, and the Longhorns start the other way. Cameron Bird, freshman from Mansfield, Texas. She's that left back. Here he comes to Villarreal. He is so talented. Villarreal was on the SEC all-freshman team last year, scored 9 goals for this Texas team, and they won the SEC tournament. Shifted over now to Thompson. Played back across to MJ Cox. What a story she is. MJ Cox missed the better part of 2 full seasons, but is back for her what is redshirt junior year on the 40 acres. And she still has another year of eligibility available because of all of those injuries. And they would love to have her come back. They call her the grandma of this group.
I mean, she is one of the older players, and you know, when you look at this Texas team, they're very young compared to what they were last year. And so being that, I think that's a term of endearment, but it speaks to how just much of a change there has been in this Texas team.
Yeah, Texas had Mia Justice back there in goal last year, just part of a great group with Lexi Missimo and Trinity Byers, and they elected not to play the transfer portal game this year because Ange Kelly sees so many resemblances between this group of freshmen and that group that was so good with Missimo and Cox. But it is mostly youth on this roster. They're going to build from within. Ange Kelly said it's been a season of growth and learning experiences. And the record is not because of lack of effort, lack of trying with this team. And it's still there. They could still win their last 2 and potentially qualify for the SEC championship. There she is, 14th season as head coach. Won the SEC tournament title in their first year in the league last year. Regular season title before that. And they left the Big 12 with 2 consecutive championships on their way out the door there. Here's Kendall Williams, the redshirt freshman, coming out of goal. This is her 7th start. Longhorns utilized Matea Descher as well. She started the first 9 matches. Rayo trying to take control for the Sooners. Physical with Sadie Hoke, and Rayo wins the battle. Trying to thread the needle for Hadley Morrell. Williams races out and sprawls out on top of it. Nicely done by the redshirt freshman keeper.
That was beautiful footwork there by Rayo, just dribbling past 2 or 3 defenders. But that's what she has done really well this year. She just has kind of grew into more of that playmaking forward or center mid that she was. Last year, she didn't really have those opportunities as much, but now as we see her play Kiefer in almost just like clockwork. I mean, she's just really excelling this year.
Rayo goes down as she tried to take a swipe at it. This ball deflected out to Ariana Brothers, the junior from Maple Valley, Washington. She's made 26 consecutive starts. McDonald trying to post up against Brown, and Brown a little too aggressive. McDonald's going to earn a free kick here. We talked about Riley Brown, and you mentioned it, always shadowing the other team's best player, and there are such good players in the SEC. Collins at South Carolina, Paul at Alabama, and McDonald certainly. McDonald's been nursing some injuries, right leg bothering her, and had to come off against Georgia the other day after she had the brace in the first half. This ball sent all the way back to Duffy. When you have a run like Duffy has had, back-to-back SEC Defensive Player of the Week honors, it's not just you, right, Nick? It's been the 4 players in front of her that have been excellent for Oklahoma recently as well.
I mean, I would even expand that number to 10 players that are in front of her. I mean, this team this year has been extremely different than Matt Mott teams in previous years. I mean, they are just willing to battle and throw themselves on the line. I mean, we talked about Kiefer earlier being able to do that, but we've got players that are on the bench that just aren't afraid to say, hey, I know this might hurt, but I'm going to go into this tackle because it's going to save a game. And so Matt Mott has done really well with his staff just by picking some girls who aren't afraid to really, for a soccer term, die for the badge. Really just say, hey, you know what, I'm going to lay it all out for this OU logo, and it's really worked off extremely well this year.
Friendly fire there as Clifton and Pack get tangled up. Contested loose ball there, and out of bounds for a Texas throw-in. Villarreal circles back to take it. All the way back it comes toward Williams. Washington approaching, and Williams just able to strike it out and get the ball to Bird. Shimkin gets surrounded. Washington able to guide it away, but the Longhorns will take it right back. Brothers looking to send it ahead. Nobody really available. Oklahoma will take it right back. This is Allie Lacanole, who's had a good freshman year back at one of the center back spots from Woodinville, Washington. And out of bounds, this one will roll. No real early momentum either way. 10 minutes into this one. Oklahoma's been whistled for a couple of fouls. Texas whistled for one. There's Lacanole. Got her first career goal against Alabama a few starts ago. She was the 2025 Washington State Gatorade Player of the Year. Back it comes to Duffy.
And you just kind of feel both teams are feeling each other out. I mean, we spoke about it at the very beginning. This is going to be a very heated matchup. I mean, whether you like it or not, this is OU versus Texas. I mean, this means something to everybody. And so both teams are really kind of not connecting probably as much passes as what they want. They're really kind of just not being as aggressive as what they can be, and I think that just comes up to just both teams feeling each other out, kind of seeing, hey, how is this game going to get played?
This ball nearly gets through to Kiefer, but Cox physically able to manage that ball out of bounds, and Oklahoma's going to get a corner kick. Cox thought that perhaps it was off of Kiefer, it was off of Cox or a Longhorn, and so the Sooners will try another corner kick. This one will come from the far post. And that's the danger that Kiefer is. Very physical and always a threat. Lexi Dendis, sophomore, transferred from Middle Tennessee State, where she was the Conference USA Freshman of the Year last year. Williams gets her palm on it to get it away, but it's cleared right back out to the Sooners, and El Canty working it toward Alexis Washington, and she couldn't save it. It'll be a goal kick here for the Longhorns. This was top-notch. Oklahoma getting this goal from Kiefer, but just a beautiful ball in by Alexis Washington. That's as good as you can do it, Nick.
I mean, just the skill to hit that first time coming across your body. I mean, Kiefer has just been on another level. She is just seeing the ball, and she is just finishing anything near the box, which is awesome to see if you're the Sooners, because now they're getting ready for the most important games of the year.
And Matt Mott described it as the grittier the game, the better she is. Just empties the tank, and he said not almost, but you've got to be conscious of it to make sure that she's getting proper rest and making sure that she's ready to go, because she goes so hard. The tank is empty. This ball trying to get through toward Kiefer, but back it'll go to Kendall Williams once again.
One of the early shifts you can already tell is that McDonald for Texas is she was on the left-hand side to start this game. Now she's on the right-hand side, but you see Brown staying with her. And so you can tell that may be a thing that she's just trying to get more of the ball. She wasn't really getting a lot of looks here on this left-hand side. And so maybe they feel like if they switch her to the right, there may be a chance that they can kind of break down the defense a little bit easier.
You see McDonald able to get a little bit of space there. Duffy up to the task. McDonald leads all SEC freshmen in goals, shots, points, shots per game. Dynamic is the word that Ange Kelly and staff used to describe this freshman, who was at the centerpiece, top 10 national recruit of their top 6 recruiting class that they brought in. Kiefer able to take that one from Hoke, working it toward Alexis Washington, but chased down by Bird, who will just fend this one off. You see Division I freshman goal leaders McDonald tied for the top. 6 of those have come in 3 games. She's had 3 braces this year. College of Charleston, and then 1 against Alabama, and 1 most recently against Georgia. Dendes serves this one across over the top of Morrell and just soars all the way out of bounds. Texas will get a throw in.
You know, and that just speaks to what you're talking about earlier with Coach Kelly. You know, if she would have went into the transfer portal, that could have limited the starts that McDonald could have had. And so by doing that, you're now allowing her to get just these minutes that you just can't teach. You can't teach playing time. And so the fact that she's now got all these extra minutes and has now scored this, I mean, if they can somehow get into the SEC playoffs, I mean, that's going to be a scary team to play against.
Valuable minutes. And as you said, it's not just been what McDonald has done, but Audrey Bryant has been front and center defensively, and Sadie Hoke as well in the midfield. They have been just as important starting every match as true freshmen. Here's Michelle Pack. Wide now for Washington, Oklahoma's all-time assists leader with 23 for her career. Washington, across it comes. Morrell heads it just over the crossbar. Out of bounds it goes, but Oklahoma threatens, and Hadley Morrell has been on a lot of attacks like that in her Sooner career.
I mean, you see there Washington just does what she does best. Does a little step over there, plays the ball in. Morrell is going to wish to have that back. That was good defended, but if she could have just got a little bit more height on that to get the ball down, I mean, that would have been a beautiful assist and goal.
Hadley Morrell, 10 goals, 12 assists for her Oklahoma career, the Prosper, Texas native. Out of that exchange, Shimkin's going to win it for the Longhorns. Texas resets here, 15 minutes in. Oklahoma credited with taking the only shot so far. How much of a contrast in styles? Texas wants to try to possess it a little bit, but Oklahoma, they're a little different. They're in your face defensively. You talk about pressing, and most of the time you think about pressing offensively. Oklahoma really does it defensively, Nick.
Yeah, and so what we mean by when we say that, they are just trying to press extremely high up the field, and so they've got a lot of athletes this year with Kiefer, Clark, Mulaney, just all these girls that are able to press the ball really high, and so you're now getting pressure on top of your 18. So if you're an opposing team, you are now saying, hey, we either are going to break this pressure or we're going to give the ball up in our defensive third, which is not what you want. And if you're Texas, Texas is a team that is just trying to in the coaching world, we say lull you to sleep. They just want to play back and forth and wait for that right moment to strike. And so as you see here, the ball is getting played backwards. And so it's not that they're afraid to go forward, but they're just intentional with it. They don't want to lose it. They have to have a purpose behind every pass. And so you'll see here, they start to go forward. And if they don't see anything, they're not afraid to go backwards with it and wait for that right moment.
Trying to work it into the midfield toward Sadie Hogue, but Pat comes to take it for the Sooners, and now it's Kiefer. Washington angling around Bird, but Bird's able to cut her off. Trying to use that speed, and down goes Washington. Aggressive, hard play there by Bird. And back the other way it'll go, though. Foul call on Washington. Cameron Bird, freshman defender from Mansfield, Texas. She was injured early. Let's look again here, Nick. What do you see?
I mean, to be honest, that looks like just a 50-50 tackle on both sides. You saw a little short pull from both McDonald and Washington there. And so, I mean, that's going to be a matchup to watch on that side, just with Washington's, with her just experience, and then McDonald just coming in, just really saying, hey, you know what, like, I'm going to show you what I've got. And so, but that looked just like a 50-50 challenge to me.
Offside call against the Longhorns. Villarreal trying to chase that ball down. And now, Caroline Duffy. So good, not just defending, but she's an offensive keeper. She's got 2 assists and will take many of these Oklahoma free kicks. If it's back on this half of the field, she most certainly will take them for the Sooners. Off a couple of heads. And out of bounds off Oklahoma's Michelle Pack. No substitutions yet. There's Michelle Pack, had a very good career out of Coppell, Texas. 5 career goals and 4 assists. Just so smooth and technical in the midfield. Another Oklahoma throw-in coming here. This one chipped into the middle of the 18 box toward Morrell. And cleared back the other way. Brianna Thompson striking it for the Longhorns. Texas will get a throw in. Busy day around the SEC. This the next to last games for all the teams across the league. Then basically it's a week off before the final day of the regular season 1 week from today. And then the top 12 teams will convene in Pensacola starting on November the 2nd for the SEC Soccer Championship. Remember, 12 teams will get there. The top 4 seeds will have a bye in the opening round. Arkansas, Georgia, Tennessee, Vanderbilt, those teams that were in the top 4 coming into the day. But it is far from settled who will finish where. You just want to get there. That's the task for these 2 teams. Back the other way, it'll come for an Oklahoma throw in, and we'll get a substitution. Matt Mott sends Naomi Clark on here for the Sooners, and this will send Juliet Rayo out and shift things just a little bit. Naomi Clark just got off to a red hot start. She had a brace in her first 2 games. And has yet to score in SEC play. The Sooners would like for her to change that here today. But how does that, if at all, change things for Oklahoma?
So what they're going to do is, early in the season, they would play Kiefer and Clark as a 2-man attacking front. Now they're using Clark's ability for speed and pace, and they're playing her on the wing. And so you've got Washington on the right-hand side, who is more of the pass-first type of winger. But then you've got Clark, someone who's going to get the ball to your feet and just going to take you on and really going to be decisive in those 1v1 situations. And so now you just don't know what you're going to get depending on what side you're having to defend. And it also allows Morrell to get into the middle where she, when you talk to Coach Matt Mott, she's almost like the Swiss Army knife. In her 4 years here, she's just played almost every position. And so now it allows her to get on the ball a little bit more and do what she's really good by playing those through balls into Clark, Washington, and Kiefer.
That ball played out by the Oklahoma freshman El Canty. Longhorns get a throw in. MJ Cox will come and take this one. She's box to box, sideline to sideline. She's going to run up and take just about every throw in for Texas. And this team that is so young has really relied upon her this year. We said would have another year of eligibility. Her sister Sydney, also a Longhorn soccer player. So Cox will take this running long launch of a throw in all the way nearly to the goal box, headed back out by Clark. And now Cox going to serve it in with that left foot, but it's wide. MJ Cox, 2022 was the Big 12 Conference Defensive Player of the Year and had 7 goals. But the injuries caused her to miss 23 and 24. Back this season and just passing down the Texas tradition to these young teammates. Duffy sends it away. And that'll go out of bounds. The header by Michelle Pack. Doesn't feel like there's great momentum on either side right now, Nick.
No, with both teams, it's pretty. You don't want to say sluggish because that's not the term we're looking for, but it's just kind of back and forth. This game is really getting played between the logos, the SEC logos, if you guys can see those on the field. I mean, there just really hasn't been any calmness of playing. You see how every ball we get is trying to be forced. They're trying to be the one that attacks first. And, if you're the Sooners, you attack first. Historically, this year, you have a lot of success of winning games. And so they're trying to be that aggressor. But if you're Texas, you're wanting to score first to put the Sooners on the back ropes to potentially go out and steal this game on in Norman. So, I mean, both teams are really just trying to figure the other out and trying to decide, hey, is this how this game is going to get played?
Saw Kiefer aggressively tackling that one out of bounds. Pack earns it back for the Sooners, who mount their attack. Up to cut it off comes Hoke, though. It is driven away by Ali Lacanole for the Sooners. Chased down by Bird, and back it'll come to Williams. Mentioned Matea Descher started 9 matches for Texas in goal. They had 0 returning minutes in goal this year. Did the Longhorns. Had just an excellent keeper in Mia Justice, who's now a pro. And trying to settle into that keeper spot, the 2 youngsters. And it has been now Kendall Williams for the last 7. Another corner kick here for the Sooners, their 3rd. Dendis will get an opportunity. Five assists for Dendis. Serves this one in. Up to contested go Brown for Oklahoma and Cox for Texas. Alexis Washington reaches it first. And just hits this one off of Bryant for a Sooner throw in. Dendis chips this one toward the top of the 18 box. Loose ball. Brothers steps to it for Texas and sends it away. Cameron Bird chasing it down, and Cox will drive it out of bounds. Momentum is there for the taking in this one. Which side's going to grab it? Senior day for Oklahoma. 8 seniors, 6 of them in the starting lineup. And You have senior day, you know, Nick, before the match starts. It's emotional, and sometimes you don't know what the response is going to be.
Senior day is always iffy because you've got players who have those jitters, but then you also have teammates who feel those jitters as well. And so one of the things I don't think gets talked about enough is that when you have senior day, all the other non-seniors are trying to play for those seniors. And then if you're the opposing team, you're trying to win to ruin their senior day. And so, I mean, you've got these battles going back and forth, and I think that's why this game's kind of been a little bit back and forth, because both sides are saying, hey, we don't want to lose it for our seniors, but then you've got the other group that's saying, hey, we want to win, you know, to ruin their senior day. I mean, that's a very big thing when you circle that. Some teams see it as a disgrace that you're saying, hey, why are we your senior night opponent? So
on the break comes McDonald. Dendis comes up to meet her, and it rolls up into the lap of Duffy. Good job to come up and mark McDonald there by Dendis.
And you see there, that's just what McDonald can do. Just out of nothing, you had Brown slip a little bit, but you just see that out of nothing that ball gets played to her, and then she gets that shot on goal. And so those are moments where she is going to have to be extremely clinical for this Texas team today.
Go back and watch some of the highlights of McDonald. The Georgia match, the 2 goals that she had in that last match, one of them was she stole just a ball that was going back from a defender to the keeper and scored. And then we showed you the 30-yard missile that she hit for her second goal in that game.
I mean, and that's why it just makes her so electric, because you don't know what you're going to get. You have moments where she can just steal a little silly pass back that if opposing defenses are not paying attention, she could win. Or, you know, she gets an acre of space, she may just be able to hit that thunderbolt. And so she has just done a little bit of everything for this Texas team.
Here's what we're talking about. That's just a back to the keeper, and it's all over with. Instincts, in addition to being dynamic in this one. I don't know how you defend that. I mean, what do you do with that, Nick?
Absolutely nothing. I mean, that is one of those that you save on your highlight reel, and that's when you show your kids when you're, you know, 30, 40, and be like, you know what, I still got it.
That one chipped in by Hoke, and don't think Duffy touched it on the way out. Sooners will get a goal kick out of it. Duffy getting hydrated. What a season she has had. The senior from Clarksville, Maryland, spent a couple of years at Duke. This is her second season as Oklahoma's starting keeper. But in the run of play, she's given up just 1 goal in the regular run of play in the last 4 games. 2-time SEC reigning defensive player of the week. This ball won by Villarreal at midfield. Trying to drop it over the top toward McDonald, but Brown's going to reach it first for the Sooners, and she'll just let it roll on out of bounds. Hey, you talk about how real this rivalry is. Of course, Ange Kelly, 14th season at Texas, knows all about it. Been in the middle of it. Won the SEC tournament title last year, and long time in the Big 12 as well. And Matt Mott talking about 2023, his first season as Oklahoma head coach, when the Sooners won here in Norman. But he was also an assistant at Texas from 2006 to 2010 for Chris Petroselli. And prior to that, he was an assistant at Auburn, where the Sooners just visited. So, you know, back to back, he's had Auburn and Texas on the schedule. He said he got his bachelor's at UCF, where he went to school. He got his master's at Auburn as an assistant, and his doctorate at Texas as an assistant. He knows all about this rivalry. Brown able to tackle that one away from McDonald, who wanted the foul call. None forthcoming from Rashawn Clark, the referee. And the Sooners just get clearance out of bounds by a player who has been excellent, transferring in from Washington.
I mean, that is just great defending there. McDonald was trying to have the cutback, but Brown saw it, sees the cutback, plays it out. I mean, that's just beautiful defending there by Brown.
You would almost call this a set piece, the way that Cox can launch balls in like that right there. Headed out. Drop down to the foot of Brothers, trying to circle through. Morrell able to strike it for Oklahoma. And Washington comes up to take it. Between the legs of Clark. Trying to work it ahead for Kiefer. But instead, taken away by Brianna Thompson. Oklahoma just hasn't been able to connect 2-3 passes and get their dynamic scorers in the open field. Maybe it starts here. Morrell out wide for Washington. Bird has done a good job on Washington so far today. Here they are. Washington able to get her foot to it, but Bird got just enough of a piece of it to allow Williams to come and take it easily. Alexis Washington, 23 career assists, Oklahoma's all-time leader. She had 9 as a freshman. She has been in there every moment just about. Matt Mott has called her their #1 go-to player and facilitator. Into the match and making a difference. Sophie Morin nearly stealing that ball for Oklahoma. Now it comes to Hoke. McDonald has gone down here, and that's unfortunate for Texas. She is very slow to get up and really favoring her right leg. She may have to come off. She took spikes to the leg in an earlier match and then went down. And Ange Kelly very concerned about her star freshman player. Mentioned she had to come off. They iced down that leg in the second half of that match against Georgia. She's staying out there for now, though. Dendis driving this one away for the Sooners, but Cox will reach it first. And a goal kick coming here for Texas. Under 12 minutes to go. Neither side has had significant momentum here in this opening half, and we are scoreless. 4 shots for Texas, 1 for Oklahoma. Stands are just about packed with us over here on the near side of the field. Oklahoma set to break the season-long attendance record at Oklahoma this year. Amaya Haley trying to run through and cut off briefly, but the Longhorns maintain their possession. This is Hoke trying to find some space. On the run comes Ariana Brothers. This is Audrey Bryant, another freshman from Dallas. Across it comes, and Brown clears it off the back line for Oklahoma for a Texas corner kick. And see if we can see anything with McDonald just right in the middle of things there going down.
Looks like she just got her foot stuck in the turf there. It's a little bit unfortunate. You kind of see that sometimes when you play on these fields, that if it's a little colder during the day, you know, just make sure kind of cleats, depending on what you have, the metal studs, or depending on what your formation is on the bottom of your cleat, it's able to just kind of sticks in the ground a little bit, which causes that. Nothing intentional. It didn't look like she ran into anyone there.
Sadie Hoke drives this corner across, and down it goes. Cox trying to go up and get her head on it. Instead it comes to Haley, and out of bounds one more time. So the Longhorns will do it again from the far side of the field. And Hoke will jog over to take that one. She's played all 99 times this year. She's only been off the field for 70 minutes total as a freshman. That's Sadie Hoke this year. And Hoke, this one more out toward the top of the 18 box, headed away by Dendis for Oklahoma. Down it comes to Brothers. And there's McDonald and Brown locked up. Brown will clear it out of bounds. Bryant trying to work it up top. Deflected ahead by Morrell. And winning the foot race, Amaya Haley for Texas. Under 9 minutes to go in a scoreless first half. Regular season home finale for Oklahoma. Senior day for the Sooners, and the Longhorns trying to spoil it. Dendis serves it ahead for Hadley Morrell. Morrell
handball.
Working it across. No handball call, though, as it comes back to Williams.
It's a little bit unfortunate there. It wasn't in the box, but it looks like that ball just hits her hand. You can see her hands are both extended here. Looks a little close. Maybe I jumped the gun over there. But that's what we were talking about with Morrell, getting in those pockets of space. Now that she's as a midfielder now, since you've got Clark going out wide, it allows her to kind of do that, what she just did, carry the ball a little bit and travel. She can just do so much for the Sooners team, and it allows her just to kind of just try different things and play different balls. And so that gives Washington and all those players a rest, because now you've got her being able to do that.
More substitutions will enter. Claire Curran is on for Oklahoma, and looks like Annie Nadula, the freshman from Easton, Connecticut, will come on. There's Hadley Morrell getting a breather for the Sooners. Jogging off for the Horns is Audrey Bryant. Brianna Thompson will take this throw in for Texas. Which side can take momentum as we approach halftime? Only 7 minutes to go. Villarreal nearly got through the Sooner defense. Clifton clears it out for Oklahoma. Villarreal hasn't been much of a factor. Longhorns really trying to get her some open space, but it's been hard to come by against Oklahoma so far today. That went out of bounds off Luciana Seta-Ducate of Oklahoma. Thompson takes the Texas throw. Waiting on MJ Cox to come over and take the throw in.
You are right. You mentioned it a second ago. This is like an extra set piece. I mean, just having this in your locker allows you to do so much more. And so now that you can almost treat this like a corner kick.
Headed out by Oklahoma's Sophie Morin. Kept on the Oklahoma half of the field. And now Morin charges ahead. Here comes Claire Curran up the left flank. Curran looking to center this one up. Angling toward the middle. Swipes at it. Deflected by Thompson. Cox just kind of settled it. You see how calm and cool she was? Back out it comes, though, for Brown. Brown all the way back toward the keeper, Kendall Williams.
If you're Claire Curran there, you've got to go away from pressure. So when she's driving the ball at the Texas defender, you saw Cox just use that experience. She just said, hey, I know where my teammates are going to come. They're going to be coming from this side. And so if I can push her into the middle, I'm now going to push her into more defenders. And so if you're Curran, you've got to recognize that and beat her straight down the line. And so by letting her say, hey, I'm going to show you middle, it now says, hey, I'm going to show you into my team, which that's where you can eliminate that play that just happened. So what you don't see there, that was just beautiful defending by Cox. Even though it looked like she was losing the ball, she was actually forcing that play into her team, which helped her win that ball back on that potential 1v1 chance.
Goal kick here for Caroline Duffy, the Oklahoma keeper. One save for Duffy. None required yet of Kendall Williams back in goal for Texas. Duffy hits this one. Not much of a breeze at all here at John Crane Field, so the wind is not impacting these balls that take flight. This one skims all the way back and through, and it'll get back to Duffy. Tested header. Going up top is Haley. Haley really physical for Texas. 5'11", UNLV transfer. Here's Villarreal on the run. Makes the Oklahoma 18 box and scores. Striking out of nowhere, Amalia Villarreal, 9 goals a season ago. Her 7th this year gives the Longhorns a 1-0 lead.
That's exactly what Villarreal can do. I mean, you just saw a little bit of miscommunication there by the Sooners. But then she just carries the ball into space. I mean, we spoke about it earlier. She hasn't had those moments, and they're trying to find her. But she sees that pocket of space, plays it across goal. Even though Duffy has been so well, there's almost nothing you can do as that ball is coming back across your body. She's putting it where the keeper's not. That is a beautiful finish. And we have 1-0 for Texas.
Amalia Villarreal, Lansing, Michigan, 9 goals last year. Really needed her when Trinity Byers had an injury. And she's moved up the scouting report a little bit. Texas had that great senior class. Certainly other teams were aware of her coming in. She still had a very good year. That's goal number 7. 1-0 Longhorns. Can Oklahoma find an equalizer before the half ends? McDonald cut off at the pass by Brown. Brown able to keep control. Nicely done by Brown. Here's Naomi Clark. Maybe Oklahoma can get her going. Instead, that one just dumped out of bounds. Trying to get it to senior Brenlyn Mullaney. Control taken here by Brothers. Longhorns go to work again. This will come back to Williams. Mishit that one. This ball's still loose in the run of play. And whistled out of bounds. It'll be an Oklahoma throw in here for Curran. 2 minutes to go, opening half. Amalia Villarreal. Tightly contested. Struck one from outside Oklahoma's 18 box and scored her 7th goal of the year. This one sent across. Back out it comes for Clifton. And now Curran. Good chance to send this one across. Seda Ducate hits it with her left foot. Clark maybe got a touch on it. And Williams scoops it up for the Longhorns to keep it at 1-0.
And I don't think Seda Ducate understood how much time she had when she makes that touch. Right here, I think she thinks she's getting pressured. And so she just really takes her time to swing her foot at that ball to get a proper strike. You know, we had a better chance. And so you saw that kind of just bobble back to the keeper there. But good defending there. Better result here from OU, actually saying, hey, you know, we got to try to get something in these last few minutes. And so if you're Coach Matt Mott, those are exciting things to see when your team just went down 1-0.
1 minute to go here before halftime.
1 minute remaining.
This ball chased back and out of bounds. Clark trying to put the pressure on Haley. Now Curran will drive this one in again. Seda Ducate gains control.
Beautiful footwork.
Curran sends it across once again. All the way to the backside. Tackled down by Molly Macmillan for Texas. And she'll serve it away. And this back out top. Mullaney drives it across. Thompson gets her foot to it. Ava McDonald just sends it back toward the Sooner goal, and Caroline Duffy will play it on a hop, and that'll conclude the opening half. Texas on the road, looking to spoil senior day for their arch rivals, the Sooners. And Ange Kelly's team on a goal by Amalia Villarreal will take a 1-0 lead into the halftime locker room. Both teams going to reset, regroup after the first 45 minutes here in Norman on just a beautiful day. And we're pleased to have Texas coach Ange Kelly join us. Amalia Villarreal, what a performer she is. What kind of a player and performer has she been for you all this year, Coach?
Well, I think it's been her career thus far, right? She's just a sophomore, and last year she was SEC Freshman of the Year. Those types of runs and those types of finishes aren't surprising.
Coach, you know, is this the game that you've expected on this senior day? Do you expect it to kind of go back and forth and a little sluggish there towards the middle of the game?
Well, I mean, it's they want to play very direct, right? So it's it gets very disjointed. So when we settle it and we find and we have some composure, we're having success.
Okay, Coach, thank you so much. We'll let you get with your team. Ange Kelly, 14th season on the 40 acres. Got to be very pleased with the start her team is off to. Senior day in Norman, but the home team will have to come from behind because the Longhorns have a 1-0 lead at the break at John Crane Field on SEC Network. Just about set for half number 2. It is 1-0 Texas here at the break at John Crane Field, and Oklahoma coach Matt Mott kind enough to join us for a moment. 1-0, certainly nothing insurmountable. How do you generate some more opportunities here in half number 2, Coach?
Yeah, we got to push more numbers forward. We're going to start a little different formation to try and get numbers forward. Yeah, we just, you know, our passing has to be better. I think we've got ourselves in good spots, and then just passing's let us down. So we got to be cleaner in the second half for sure.
Coach, you spoke about being cleaner. Is that something that just all around that you spoke about at halftime, or just really just being in those last final third moments?
Yeah, I think just all over the field. I think we missed some passes and kicking out of bounds and stuff like that. It's a Sunday. It's a rivalry game. It's tough, but we'll be better here in the second half.
Okay, Coach, we appreciate it.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Guys.
Matt Mott, the Sooner head coach, knows all about the Red River rivalry, and his team had last Sunday off, so he encouraged as many as possible to go witness the Red River rivalry on the football field down at the Cotton Bowl. And there's Oklahoma Athletic Director Joe Castiglione just making sure that Coach Mott knew they were getting hydrated. Always a concern. Joe Castiglione is here in attendance with a wonderful career that he is wrapping up at the University of Oklahoma, and really one of the biggest reasons that Matt Mott is the head coach at Oklahoma, the pursuit of him by Joe Castiglione to become the Sooner head coach. Let's look at the first half stats. You said it, 6-2 in shots for Texas. There aren't many times this year that Oklahoma has been outshot by an opponent.
No, and it's one of those moments that Coach Matt Mott just spoke about. They're going to start pushing numbers up, and so I expect this second half to be really electric. You know, they saw that they weren't playing their normal style of Sooner soccer, and so this second half is definitely going to be an exciting one for sure.
And what a job by Texas so far to this point. What's at stake for these two teams? Well, a lot. The postseason certainly at stake for them. Longhorns with a chance to get 3 points if they can win. Keep their SEC tournament hopes alive. Oklahoma the chance to clinch with a tie or loss by Auburn or Texas A&M. This Texas team has dropped 4 straight contests, but coming on the road for Oklahoma's senior day and the opportunity to get out of Norman with a victory, we will see if they are able to seize it. But this back row defensively for Texas, just kind of mentioned it in the first half, they have been excellent. It looks like Ava McDonald is not going to start half number 2 here for Texas, Nick. So, you know, don't know if she'll be able to come in at some point, but what a difference maker she is. And if Texas has to go without her, they will have to find a little bit more punch.
And that just, if you're OU, that's got to give you a little bit of hope that you're not going to get pressured as much, because McDonald just is so electric. She can do so many things. And so if you're Texas, you're saying, hey, we're still 1-0 up. You know, we've been here before. We still got to attack at that next man up mentality.
You heard Matt Mott talk about the need to connect more passes, generate more offense. Certainly it is there. How do you do that, become more aggressive without being too risky?
You know, that's a thing that all coaches are trying to figure out, because you want to be able to play aggressive and you want to be able to play forward, but at the same time, you don't want to put your defenders in a bad spot. And so you can already tell there is a formation change by the Sooners. Looks like they're going back to their 3-5-2. Throughout the year, they started in this formation and they had a lot of success, and then they were trying to figure out ways to keep both Clark and Kiefer, keep them healthy and keep them fit. And so they started to rotate them through, and now you see them both playing at the same time to really put a lot of pressure on this Texas back line.
Also, we see Drew Legan, one of Oklahoma's freshmen, starting the second half. There she is, very talented player out of Jenks, Oklahoma, state championship there. So she'll start on the back row for the Sooners. It's out of bounds. Really got to credit these back row players, Amaya Haley and what Brianna Thompson, MJ Cox have done for Texas in helping protect this young keeper, Kendall Williams, Nick. Like Kiefer got a touch on it.
Yeah, they've come up really big for their goalkeeper, but we kind of joked about it a little bit earlier. That just speaks of the ability that Cox has on that back line. I think you mentioned it earlier. They call her the grandma, but she is really teaching this back line how to defend and how to defend smartly and how to put yourself in right situations. And so they have played a very good first half. Let's see if they can continue that into the second.
Third foul whistled against Texas today. Free kick chance here for Juliet Rayo and the Sooners. Clark trying to come out and get her head to it, and sprawling out on top of it is Kendall Williams to pick it up for the Longhorns. Kendall Williams, pretty flawless back there so far for Texas. Made her debut September 21st against Alabama, and then picked up her first win in goal for the Longhorns in that upset that they had of 13th ranked Vanderbilt down in Austin. Won that one 2-1. And Kendall Williams picked up the victory in goal.
And you can already see the Sooners being a lot more aggressive here just in the start. I mean, in the first 3 minutes, they're bombing numbers forward. They're not being afraid to go into those tackles. And you see they're by doing that, by playing a little bit quicker, they're winning fouls and they're putting themselves in good situations.
Rayo heads this one wide for Dendis. And her attempted cross deflected. Just well played that time by Bryant. Out to midfield. Sooners regroup, but Texas will get a throw in. The other thing, this is a Texas team we, Ange Kelly talking about a season of growth, lessons. Hasn't been due to a lack of effort that they haven't been more victorious this year, but you kind of use that term, freshmen have turned into sophomores, because at this point, many of these freshmen have played 12, 13 matches, several of whom have started and played most of the minutes for this Texas team. So they're just different players from what they were 10 games ago.
And that's experience you can't buy. I mean, one of the things why people kind of reach into the transfer portal is they want to get those minutes. They want to be able to say, hey, here's what I'm able to do. And so now what Ange Kelly has done, she's saying, hey, I am going to treat these girls like they are my team, and I'm going to actually use them and try to develop them. And they have gained so much experience in. And I like what you said there. They've allowed them to grow into the players that they're expected to be.
1-0 lead for Ange Kelly and the Longhorns. Amalia Villarreal with a goal in the 41st minute, just before the end of the half. Oklahoma looking for the equalizer. This one toward Kiefer. Cox able to cut it off. Wrestling match between Kiefer and Cameron Bird, and a foul against Kiefer. So this one played away by Haley. Legan comes over, and it's off of Legan. Quick Texas throw in, taken by Bryant. And now Kiefer comes up to take it for the Sooners. This is Rayo. Alexis Washington steps into it. And that will be a Texas throw-in. Ariana Brothers. Brothers came over to defend Washington. So here's Cox with that long rip of a throw-in. Headed back by Brown. Now Dendis toward Clark. But too far out in front. Clark just able to save it, but back to pick it off came Brown at Thompson. Villarreal connecting with Brothers. Ahead now Chloe Shimkin. And Duffy will come out to pick this one up. Nadula was able to turn and kind of squeak off a little cross there.
And I can tell you we're in for an exciting second half because of how open this game is already getting. Just within the first 5-6 minutes of the second half, both teams are just bombing numbers forward. Texas trying to win the game and OU trying to tie the game. And so you just see players just doing a little bit more than what they normally would.
Here's El Canty with a breakaway. Wanting to drop this one toward Kiefer. Cox reaches it first, though, and clears it for Texas. Well, El Canty on a run, one of the freshmen that's been very good. Had a brace in a match earlier this year against Tulsa. And Brown sends this one past everybody. Wide and out of bounds it goes. So we mentioned Ava McDonald not starting the second half for Texas, the super talented freshman. She will enter and replace Nadula about 8 minutes into the second half. So the playmaker is back up top for Texas. And here is McDonald trying to corral it. It'll come down to Hoke. Towards Shimkin, but she can't reach it. And Oklahoma will go back the other way.
And if you're OU, it's definitely something you have to be aware of now that McDonald's back on the pitch because of how fast she is. With this game starting to get a little bit more open, you have to now know where she's at, because if you don't, then she can just play the ball back and you're going to get put in a bad situation.
Kiefer, I think, is going to be whistled for a foul, and then our referee, Rashawn Clark, stops things and kind of gets on to Kiefer a little bit. Such an aggressive, physical player is Kayla Kiefer.
I don't see anything in that right there. I think they were just both trying to win the ball.
Here's Dendis out of the pack for the Sooners. Now Clark trying to tackle it away was Haley. Clark resets it, drives it across, and over the top it goes out of bounds. Again, it's that balance, Nick, between wanting to be aggressive and take shots, but also making sure you take composed ones.
And that was one of those she was definitely trying to cross when she played that in. But already you're seeing much more from the Sooners going forward. And so if you're Coach Matt Mott, you're definitely excited because your team listened at halftime. Your team is now pressing and doing exactly what you're asking them to do.
Hadley Morrell took a swipe at that one after stealing a pass. Morrell, the attacking midfielder, distributor, 10 career goals, 12 assists. Prosper, Texas senior, one of the 8 Sooner seniors playing their final regular season match here today. McDonald and Brown in a struggle physically there, and a foul against Oklahoma and Riley Brown. That's the other thing that McDonald provides. You have to pay her so much attention, But she can gain fouls and create openings for teammates. Now a little talking maybe between Brown and McDonald as well.
The rivalry is alive and well.
It's good to see, isn't it? We'll see who eventually takes this free kick. Villarreal is up there. Runs right past it. Served in by Shimkin. Back out it comes for Shimkin. Quick. It's that left-footed hit. And a one-hopper taken by Duffy. Duffy rips this one out in front of Alexis Washington, and McDonald just outran everybody. Tough to throw a ball out there in a foot race and ask somebody to outrun McDonald. Cox drives this one up into the front row of the stands. And you get teammates when you've had a lengthy career as she has had. She's engaged to be married, and she's got teammates who just turned 18. Or juxtaposition in your station in life, I suppose. There's a little bit of a late whistle there and a foul call.
You just see a little shove there by Kiefer, and the ref's doing a great job of trying to keep control of this game. He's noticing that things are getting a little bit more open, things are getting a little bit more chippy, and so you see him trying to make sure, saying, hey, we're going to let you guys play, but we're not going to play, we're not going to do silly fouls. And so I don't mind that call, even though it is just a little soft in my opinion, but he's doing a smart job of saying, hey, I'm now controlling the game. This is the standard that we're going to set, and so I have no problem with that foul being called.
Longhorns going to make a fairly early substitution here in half number 2. Molly McMillan is on, and Chloe Shimkin's going to get a breather. Legan heads this one right back out of bounds. Lone goal came from Amalia Villarreal back in the 41st minute of the first half. MJ Cox whips this throw in all the way into the Oklahoma 18 box. Washington touches it ahead toward Kiefer, and now Washington runs back to it. Washington trying to find a little bit of real estate, but she's run down by Ariana Brothers, who bumps it out of bounds. Now substitutions the Oklahoma way. It's like Michelle Pack and Cassie Clifton will come on. Legan and El Canty get a break. Washington toward Kiefer, and that one goes off of Cox. Was it a handball or just out of bounds? Looks like just out of bounds, and an Oklahoma corner kick upcoming.
You'll see there on the replay, her hand was out, but it was close to her body. It wasn't making herself bigger in any way, shape, or form. And so that's how the handball rule states, is that as long as you're not making your body bigger, they're never going to call that as a handball.
Another corner will come right here from Dendis.
But if you're OU, this is more like OU. We spoke about it at halftime, just being aggressive and winning corners and getting shots. And this is what you want to see if you're OU.
Dendis this time hits it into the side of the net. Little entanglement here on the back end, and we got some players coming together. Keeper Kendall Williams. We'll get another look at it. That ball came in and hit the side of the net, like maybe a Sooner got tangled up with Williams.
So there's already a little bit of jostling for position right there, and you just kind of see just a little bit of a coming together there, and you know, both players aren't really happy about it, but this is where the moments we were talking about, how it's just a little bit more aggressive, and these are where you're saying, if you're Matt Mott and the Sooners, saying, hey, you know, I don't mind that, but then that foul that you just saw on Pack happens because of what just happened in the goal mouth, and so now you've got to start saying, hey, I've really started to call this game. I've now got to be just a little bit more aggressive and maybe start having to show a card or two. Yeah,
Clark, he's going to have his hands full the rest of this one. Duffy hits this ball right toward the goal, headed away, bodies tumble, and it's through the back of the net. It's Juliet Rayo, but we've got a whistle. Hold everything. He's going to review it. So over to the monitor is going to go Rashawn Clark. Juliet Rayo takes advantage of a loose ball out on top for Oklahoma. But the whistle had blown, I believe. Let's look again.
It's not on the free kick here. Everything on the free kick is good. Everyone is on sides. You'll watch here. Rayo hits the shot, and Clark touches that. But you see the defender is inside of the goal mouth, and so that would technically be... It's going to be a little bit tricky, so you're going to have to stay with me here. The goalkeeper went to attack the ball. So the offsides rule is the last defender, and the goalkeeper is now technically the last defender. But since she went up, the last defender is now the defender that is inside of the goal mouth. And so you'll see right here, the goalkeeper comes off of her line, goes out to try to attack the ball. So now you see Cox going to defend her goal. So now that makes her the last defender. In my opinion, you see the touch there by Clark. I would consider that a goal because the goalkeeper came out to make an attacking challenge to the ball. The ball is bobbling out, and the defender Cox is trying to save the ball. And so I don't think there's an offsides getting played there. I think this goal is going to stand because Cox went inside of the goal mouth trying to defend that ball.
And the fact that he did not blow the whistle, indicating offside, apparently. Get a Hawkeye view down the line here, Nick.
And so right here, this is a perfect example. Clark is in front of the goalkeeper. Now, like I mentioned, it's a little tricky how the offsides rule works. Since the goalkeeper stood forward, she is now considered a defender and not the goalkeeper in that instance. And so since Clark is behind or in front of the goalkeeper, and you can see there in our Hawkeye view, just by inches, it should be a Sooners goal because she was on the ground and she made that extra touch. Now, all of this would have changed if Clark would never have went to touch the ball. And you see there, if you replay this shot, if you play it all the way through, you'll see her take the deflection, and then she instantly, you know, she makes that like, oh goodness, I made it, but I also may have been offside, and so she kind of notices. But this is going to be a very interesting decision, and I think the goal is going to stand.
And Kelly being given the explanation. So it is a goal, and Oklahoma has tied it. It'll be an assist for Rayo and the goal to Clark, who just got that last little touch.
And like I mentioned, that's
you're
what he's
spot on with your explanation, and you can tell that's what he's giving to Coach
And that's
Clark.
what he's trying to say. He's trying to say, even though the goalkeeper was out, and you saw the goalkeeping coach there for Texas try to go explain, even though she was out, she still now was in front of Clark. And so Clark was in front of her, which still allows there to be the last man. And so you see there, that's a goal. And so this game is now, with 28 minutes left, got extremely exciting.
So credit the goal to Naomi Clark. It is her first since conference play started, her 8th of the season, and the assist to Juliet Rayo, which is her 2nd assist in 2025. We're all tied at 1. Now McDonald. Brown and Clark are going at it. physically and verbally. And now Villarreal maybe trying to calm them both down a little bit.
I mean, but this has been a battle that's been happening the whole game. I mean, and if you're an onlooker, this is something that's super exciting. This is the kind of battles that you highlight. Brown and McDonald have been playing so aggressive, and they've been playing just really pretty football this whole entire game. And so that's a battle in this last 28 minutes that you're going to see continue.
You know, Nick, it begs the question, if you're Sean Clark and you want that to stop, you could assess both of them a yellow card. That would probably stop it quickly. Would you do that?
I think you first have to give him a warning, because you've let it slide the whole game.
And the Longhorns have put one home. Mass pile of bodies in front of the goal, and let's unsort it and see who got the final touch for Texas to give them a 2-1 lead. There again is what Cox can do, so dangerous. We'll get a look at the replay and see which Texas player that it was to get the go-ahead goal.
And so you see there Cox with a long throw, and it looked like the ball just kind of bobbled there on the ground, and just beautiful little deflects there by McMillan just to get that ball into Duffy, just expecting the ball to get high, and it just went right in between her legs. So she's unfortunate there, but that's a perfect response if you're the Longhorns. And like I said, this last 28 minutes of this game is about to get real exciting.
Second career goal for Molly McMillan. Duffy comes racing out of the goal box to pound this one away for Oklahoma. So you get goals within the span of a minute of each other. Oklahoma tied it on the goal by Clark, and now McMillan puts one home for Texas to make it 2-1 Longhorns. Feels like we're not done yet. Dendes scoots this one along the ground, cleared by Cox. And it comes for Kiefer, trying to spin around Thompson. Thompson right there. It comes across and pumped out by Hoke. This is Dendes. Can't connect there with Kiefer, and the Longhorns will go back the other way. Amalia Villarreal had a goal back in the first half for Texas. Oklahoma tied it with Naomi Clark. And now Molly McMillan has put Texas back on top with under 27 minutes remaining. And there are McDonald and Brown once again. Looks like they've cooled things just a little bit. So clarification on the Texas goal. It has now been credited to Audrey Bryant, and McMillan gets an assist along with Cox, who threw it in. Well, what a weapon that long throw for Cox is. So Audrey Bryant credited with the Texas goal. Okay, now they've just recorrected it, and as we said first, it is McMillan's goal. I promise you, we're watching the stats happen real time. We had McMillan originally. That was the goal scorer, and now it is once again the goal scorer. And here's Oklahoma trying to tie it. Alexis Washington. Bird's done a very good job staying in front of Washington today. Here's Hadley Morrell sending it across. Williams dives to get her hands on it, and Villarreal clears it. What a play by Williams. Fearless. Duffy blasts back the other way for the Sooners. Chasing to it is Bryant. Back for Villarreal. Washington steps up to try to contain her. And a foul on Villarreal. Nothing intentional there. Got tangled up with Rayo. And Oklahoma will get the free kick. So, once again, it is Molly Macmillan. She was credited with the goal, then had it taken, and then re-awarded to her, Nick. You know, what a turn of events.
You know, maybe I'm a little selfish there since that's my last name too. Maybe that's why I said that's what the goal. But either way, if you're Texas, you're just going to be excited that you scored. You know, the way that you responded back from that instance. And so I don't think they're going to be complain too much. They're just happy that they scored. But if you're OU, you've got to now resettle yourself and say, hey, we just scored. We're going to have to do it again. We're going to have to continue doing what we were doing to be successful.
Then this wins it for the Sooners. Longhorns trying to keep it away from Kiefer, who does get it. All the way across it comes. Who's going to reach this first? It'll be Washington for the Sooners with an opportunity. Washington crosses the goal box. Cox heads it away. And all the way out of bounds. Brown and McDonald once again. Brown toward the top of the 18. Headed away, but back it comes to Pack. And Villarreal comes in. Swept out by Cameron Bird. Hard tackle by Ali Lacanol of Oklahoma. Really good action here the last 15 minutes of this one. Such a different feel from what we had in the first half.
It's both teams really getting after it. It's both teams now saying, hey, this game is here to be won. And so it's a little bit more electric, and both teams are really mimicking the play of each other. You know, Texas realizing that the formation has changed. Now we've got to play a little bit more direct, and now OU saying, hey, if we apply our pressure, if we just do what we're good at, we're going to have chances and we're going to have more success. And so this has been a beautiful second half to watch.
Each team has scored a goal in the second half. And the two goals were scored within a span of a minute of each other. Here's Villarreal. Clifton driving this one out of bounds off of the Texas defender, Audrey Bryant. Looks like Oklahoma is going to give Naomi Clark a little breather for a bit. She scored the goal for the Sooners in this half, and Luciana Seta Ducate is on for her. Shimkin. This ball swept all the way across and stolen by Alexis Washington for the Sooners. Here comes Washington.
If you're Washington here, you've got to be direct.
Wanted to serve it in, deflected by Bird, and now Bird takes it for Texas. Brown back to intercept for Oklahoma. Brown, across it comes, headed out. Morrell wanted to swipe but couldn't. Dendis drives it home, and the Sooners have tied it from the top of the 18 box.
What a goal.
Loose ball to the sophomore Lexi Dendis, and it's 2 apiece between the Red River rivals.
And we see there, Washington got the ball back. The ball kind of fumbled its way back to Brown. Brown then says, hey, I'm going to go do it myself. She dribbles down, plays the ball in. Ball takes the deflection. And you see here, the unlucky shot takes a deflection. Rayo just with a little bit of a deflection, which allows Dindis to say, hey, I've been here before, and she just puts it side netting. I mean, this is just an unbelievable finish.
4th goal of the year for Lexi Dindis, the Middle Tennessee State transfer. She was the Conference USA Freshman of the Year there last year, and that's 8 career goals between her 2 stops. We are all tied at 2-2. Seta Ducate trying to force the action and does so. She earns an Oklahoma throw-in, which Washington will take. More substitutions. Sophie Morin has come on for Oklahoma along with El Canty. And this is where Texas has to really rely upon MJ Cox, the senior, back on that back row. And Oklahoma will continue to press things. Throw in comes to Kiefer. Surrounded. Down she goes. No foul. Pack steps in and intercepts. Across it comes right to Williams.
And you see there, that's one of the things you wouldn't have saw in the first half by the Sooners. They're just pressing high, which is causing Texas to make those silly mistakes, which is allowing OU to have some success in their final third.
Oklahoma throw-in coming here. Look back at Kiefer tangled up with Cox, 2 physical veteran competitors. Cameron Bird comes in. An Oklahoma free kick taken here by Sophie Morin. 7 fouls apiece. Morin hits it right toward the keeper Williams. Kiefer rushing in, and Williams cut her off and took it. Riley Brown wins that header. This one comes for Seta Ducate. Trying to stop and go. Now finds Pack. But that one intercepted by Chloe Shimkin. Here come the Horns. Serve forward to McDonald. Turns Brown a couple of times. Brown tries to stay with her. McDonald to the edge. Across it comes. Duffy was there, as were her Sooner defenders. And Oklahoma back the other direction. Here comes Morin. Back out for Seta Ducate. Seta Ducate sends it across. Headed out by Haley. And Kiefer runs into the back of Ariana Brothers, who takes a tumble. A Sooner foul and a free kick here for Texas.
And that's what we talked about at the very beginning. Duffy has been great, but there's just been numbers of defenders to go help there. I mean, that's just what McDonald can do best. Sizing someone up and getting ready to go. And then you have the Kiefer foul here. Just a little bit unfortunate there. You know, kind of she falls to the ground, and so she kind of has to extend to kind of save herself. But, I mean, I think it's a good battle on both sides, and so I don't mind that if you're the Sooners player.
Kiefer steps to this one. Watched by Thompson. Kiefer right in the middle of the 18 box. And deflected wide. It'll be an Oklahoma throw-in. Substitutions coming both ways. Clark back on for Oklahoma. Kiefer will get a breather. And a couple of fresh sets of legs coming for the Longhorns. Looks like we'll see Annie Nadula and Audrey Bryant will get a break. Cameron Bird's going to get a breather on the back row as well. This is Brown out for Canty. Morin back and forth for the Sooners. And taken out as Thompson got her foot to it. It has been fun to watch Brown and McDonald all afternoon long, hasn't it, Nick?
I mean, if you know anything about soccer, this battle has just been tremendous. I mean, at the end of the day, they may be mad at each other right now, but that after the game, you can tell they're going to be giving each other high fives. I mean, because as a soccer player, that's the kind of battle you want to see. You want to see saying, hey, I'm going to give it my best, and you better give it your best, because this is going to be a battle. And that's just great to see them two competing against each other.
Here's Washington speeding into the Texas side. Toward Clark it comes, and cleared out by the Longhorns' Amaya Haley. Constant pressure from Sooner attackers right now. Washington chips it across. Morin couldn't get a strike away. Out top it comes. Brown trying to drive it back forward. This is Curran posting up against Shimkin. Serves it across. Nobody's home. And it's cleared by Hoke. Brown steps to this one for the Sooners.
What a touch there by Washington.
Washington, such control. Across it comes and headed just over the top by Clark. The near connection between Washington and Clark that would have given the Sooners the lead.
And you see there, just Washington doing what Washington does best, playing that ball in. That's one that Clark is going to wish he had back. I mean, just wide open back post. You just have to, she's trying to head that right back where it came from, and so she's playing the ball across the box because the keeper is now going to be going from left to right. And so if she can just get that connection right, the ball is coming with so much pace. She really doesn't have to put a bit of power on it, but you see her body just was leaned just a little bit up, which caused that ball to kind of skyrocket. She's definitely going to wish she had that one back.
Down it comes for Seda Ducate, her left-footed strike, and Washington is there to put it in for Oklahoma to take the lead. Seda Ducate, dangerous. Alexis Washington on the other end, and Oklahoma leads for the first time in this one.
And I mean, the two things that will go unnoticed is the ball playing back in, but the most important right here is the touch by Clark. The two touches by Morin, and then the touch by Clark at the beginning of that play. Morin saves it, Clark puts it back in, and then boom, Washington backside. It's almost like we have seen this before, playing the ball across the box, and Washington on her senior day gets the goal she deserves.
3 second-half goals by Oklahoma to take a 3-2 lead. Alexis Washington's first goal this year. Oklahoma's all-time assist leader has never scored a bigger goal in her career. And as you said on her senior day, the potential to give Oklahoma the game winner in the Red River rivalry. Clark, Dendis, and Washington have all scored in the half, and Oklahoma has a 3-2 lead. That's Rashawn Clark looking at the VR video review. What do you think exactly he would be looking at here, Nick? Offside, potentially?
If I had to take the guess, I think he's looking at the offside by Washington, kind of wondering how she was wide open, just making sure the goal should stand. But she was behind the defender. I don't think there's going to be any problems there. There may have been a foul in the buildup. Maybe that's what he's looking at, but you can tell there she's already behind the defender, and she is, I mean, shoulder to shoulder. And you look at our Hawkeye view there on the right-hand side. She's behind that last defender, and they're probably looking at the shot here, maybe see if there was a little bit of a deflection from Seda Ducate, but everything looks good here. I think they're just making sure, since this is such a tight game and now it's been so contested, you don't want to get anything wrong in these moments.
Certainly looks as though she is at least, as you said, shoulder to shoulder. And the goal will stand. Oklahoma leads at 3-2.
I mean, like I mentioned, that was one of those where I think everything was correct, but the ref did a smart job there just by making sure, with how highly contested this match has been, you don't want the game to be decided on a mistake. And so I think that's very well done there by the officials.
Onward we play, and a foul call against Oklahoma. Maybe a little off balance. Contact made by Morin. Foul whistled. Free kick chance here for Texas. Ariana Brothers set to take it. Pretty good ball in front of the Oklahoma 18, and Duffy is there. I believe it was Cox running toward her. Duffy makes a big save for the Sooners.
I mean, and that's just a massive save, just right over the head of Clark there. I mean, she has no idea that ball is going to be coming right at her, and so you just see her set her ground there, and just beautiful. It's coming right at her, and the ability to go get the second ball. I mean, that's great goalkeeping there by Duffy.
So here's Clark hitting this one off of Cameron Bird. Sooners will get a corner. Clock running with 12 minutes to go. 3 second-half goals by Oklahoma after Texas led 1-0 at intermission. Oklahoma with a chance to clinch a spot in the SEC championship by day's end. But they need to win to do that. Cox had this one into the air for Texas. Loose out in front of the goal, and it'll be circle cleared by Brothers. Big collision in there. Morin goes down, tangled up with Haley. Dendis serves it across. Washington got her head to it. Sent into the air by Cameron Bird. Pretty alert play by Morin to come take this ball for the Sooners. Out of bounds. It'll be an Oklahoma throw-in. Under 11 minutes to go.
That's what we were talking about earlier, just the Sooners having the ability to play a little bit quicker, play a little bit more aggressiveness, and that was just more in just being in the right place at the right time.
This is Canty, wide open space, sends it toward the head of Hadley Morrell, and all the way across it'll go. Texas will get a throw-in. Oklahoma needs a win and a loss by either Auburn or Texas A&M to clinch a spot in the SEC championship by day's end. Texas would need a win to keep hopes of going on to the SEC championship alive. Been a battle all day for Rashawn Clark, our referee, as you would expect in the Red River rivalry. Now McDonald. Going hard with Brown. Brown tackles it hard. Down they both go. Texas throw in. Riley Brown has had an excellent senior season, transferring into Oklahoma from Washington. Just saw that opportunity, Nick, and cleared it out.
I mean, that was one of those moments where you have to make the tackle right, because if you miss that, then you're leaving McDonald 1v1 getting ready to go to goal. And so that was just a beautiful piece of defending there by Brown.
Cox gets her foot to it and sent well over the top by Cambry Patrick that time. Oklahoma gets a goal kick.
And this is where it's so important to have the leadership of Duffy back there, because now, I mean, you see her just eating those few seconds off the clock, and the fact that she's got just a massive leg, it allows you to say, hey, we can take 1 or 2 seconds, and then at worst case scenario, we know that Duffy is just going to launch this ball into the other half. I mean, the worst thing that you could have happen is to lose the ball inside of your own half in moments like this. And so that's where having Duffy and having just her experience and her big leg just is so just unchangeable.
McDonald sends this one toward the Oklahoma goal box. Headed away by Ali Lacanole of the Sooners. This will be an Oklahoma throw-in and substitutions, it would appear. Kiefer is back. And looks like Alexis Washington, who has the go-ahead goal for Oklahoma, is going to come off with less than 8 minutes to go. And she gets a well-deserved handshake and pat on the back from her head coach, Matt Mott. Canty gets this one free and clear. He's kind of maneuvering through defenders.
It's a beautiful bit of footwork there by Canty.
Clark hit that one out of bounds.
I would have loved for Clark to just take a little bit more time there on the ball. I think she just tried to kick the ball and not really get her hips around it, but if she would have taken a little bit more time to size herself up, she could have played that better ball into the box.
Hard tackle that time. Morin tangled up with Amaya Haley. Pack goes down, and they will call a foul on Haley this time.
And if you're the Sooners, you don't mind this. You don't mind, you know, putting your body on the line, because every single time that you get a foul like this, just the ball stops. The ball is just is stopped. It's dead. There's no chance that Texas can score, but you're also wasting time. You're also just draining that clock minute by minute. And so if you're the Sooners, you're like, hey, I'm okay with that foul. It's 50 yards away from goal. They're not going to be pressing us. And now we have that chance to just eat those few precious seconds off the clock.
Longhorns will get a goal kick out of this. You're so right, though, Nick. In that little exchange there, probably 20, 25 seconds trickled off the clock. That's to Oklahoma's advantage. They've scored 3 times in the second half to turn a 1-0 halftime deficit into a 3-2 lead.
I mean, we heard Coach Matt Mott talk about it. They're going to make a change. They're going to try things a little bit different, try to go back to the way of playing that they know they can, and it's definitely worked for them.
Clark hits this one low on the ground and taken by Kendall Williams with 5.5 minutes to go. Clark scored a goal earlier. In fact, it was the goal that tied the game at 1 apiece. El Canty for Oklahoma. Here's Morrell.
And that's so well by Canty right there. Rather than just playing the ball into space, you saw her just eat a little bit of space, eat that pressure up, and which is allowing her to dictate the game. And she's really, you wouldn't have known that she's a freshman by that type of play. She just is breathing, and she's saying, hey, I'm now taking this game, and rather than just playing the ball where I know that I want my player to be, I'm kind of waiting for the right moment to strike.
This one comes to the backside for Clark, into Kiefer, and she drops it in. Naomi Clark, the assist. Kayla Kiefer scores, and Oklahoma leads it 4-2. That might be the final finishing touch on this senior day.
And you see the big hug there by Kiefer to Clark. I mean, that goal was all done by Clark. She wins the ball, she plays it, and she just is being so smart there, playing that ball. And then Kiefer, I mean, how good has she been being able to play that with her left foot across her body, puts it right across goal. Goalkeeper had no chance there. I mean, but that's what the two forwards can do. We spoke about it at the very beginning of the year with this Sooner team. Who's going to be the players up top that are going to score the goals for this team? And Clark and Kiefer said, hey, hands raised, we know what we're able to do. And I mean, they have just shown their qualities, what they can bring to the Sooners team.
7th goal of the year for Kiefer. And for Naomi Clark, that is her 4th assist. Clark has a goal and an assist today. Oklahoma leads 4-2. Right back to it come the Longhorns. Villarreal, so dangerous. Trying to drop that one through the seam, and it's cleared by Canty. McDonald fires over the top. 4 second-half Oklahoma goals by 4 different players.
OU's MO this year is that when they score in bunches, and so this just speaks to that. I mean, there's been multiple times this season that once OU has scored, they score 2 or 3 really quick, and you see that here. I mean, it is very unheard of to score 4 goals in one half and 4 goals in the second half to that. I mean, this has been a completely changed Sooners team, and I mean, they have looked the side that's more likely to win this game in the second half.
They're at a plus 19 goal differential at home this year. Three straight draws coming into the day for Matt Mott and the Sooners. Looking to close with this senior day win. And pending what happens with both Auburn and Texas A&M later today, they both play in just a bit, Oklahoma could secure a spot in the SEC championship. 3 minutes to play here. Texas scored off a long throw-in and a goal when Cox cut one loose earlier this half. Rips this one all the way to the Oklahoma goal box. Right back it comes to her. And that drive sent wide by Nadula. It'll be under 2.5 minutes left when Duffy takes this Sooner goal kick. Texas has outshot Oklahoma 12-9 today. But the Sooners have posted 4 second-half goals. Kiefer will get to this one, but she's offside.
I don't think Kiefer was expecting that ball to get played first time by Morrell there. But as you can tell, just applying that pressure, you're just putting the Texas defense under pressure, which is causing them to make some of those silly mistakes.
That'll be a foul on Lexi Dendis. And a decent look here for Texas with 1:30 left. Shimkin took the tumble. Villarreal scored the opening goal of the day back in the 41st minute. She will take this free kick. Bends it toward the top right corner, punched out by Duffy. All the way across it goes and cleared by Clifton. And under a minute to go now, Oklahoma can certainly feel it. Potential of a senior day win that would all but clear them a spot in the SEC postseason championship. And probably fitting that it's a senior in likely her final game at John Crane Field. One of the all-time best Oklahoma Sooners right there, Alexis Washington, who scored what looks like will be the game-winning goal. She gave Oklahoma the 3-2 lead on a goal in the 76th minute. And Alexis Washington and her Sooners are going to claim a senior day victory over their arch rivals. It's a Sooner celebration. A senior day come from behind win. Matt Mott and Ange Kelly exchange handshakes, lots of hugs, and a celebration for Oklahoma. They rally with 4 second-half goals and win it 4-2. It is back-to-back 10-win seasons. That's the first time that the Oklahoma program has done that since 2015 and 2016. So the Sooners gained 3 critical points in the battle to try to get to the beach in Pensacola. They now have accumulated 12 points in the SEC regular season standings. And pending what happens with Auburn and Texas A&M, Oklahoma potentially clinches a spot in the SEC championship. And the young Texas Longhorns, boy, they were feisty today. They come up just a couple of goals shy, Nick.
You know, if you're the Longhorns, you definitely don't want to hold your head down. I mean, they've played phenomenally well. I mean, just every single time the Sooners had, an attack for them, they were able to answer right back. And so this is the experience that Coach Ange Kelly was talking about, getting games like this. If you've never been a part of this rivalry game, you don't understand how intense this game was. And so for them to be able to get that, it's just exciting, for this Texas team.
4-2 is the final score. Texas scored the first goal. Amalia Villarreal made it 1-0. That was the only goal in the first half. Oklahoma got the equalizer. Naomi Clark, assisted by Juliet Rayo, tied it at 1. Less than a minute later, on a ball that was just loose in front of the net, Molly Macmillan scored to give Texas a 2-1 lead. The Sooners tie it on a Lexi Dindis goal, and then Alexis Washington, the go-ahead goal, what proved to be the game winner in the 76th minute. And Alexis Washington